Welcome to ATMC TV's High School Football Game of the Week. Once again, we are coming to you from Jack Campbell Stadium on the campus of South Brunswick High School. The 4-1 Hoggard Vikings have made the trek over from Wilmington tonight, and partner Jay Combs, Hoggard has made the trek to take on the undefeated South Brunswick High School Cougars. Hoggard 4-1 overall, 2-0 in Mid-Eastern Conference play. The Vikings have league wins over West Brunswick and Topsail, while South Brunswick has Mid-Eastern Conference victories over Topsail and New Hanover last week. Jay, been a long time since we've said this, but a critical Mid-Eastern Conference matchup for two teams who with Laney sit atop the league standings.
Yeah, I'm not sure 5 weeks ago if you would have predicted, the battle of the undefeateds at South Brunswick tonight with Hoggard coming to town, but indeed, that's exactly what we have, particularly after the Cougars with that thrilling 6-3 win last week, the first time they defeated New Hanover since 1999. The last second field goal from Noah Harrell, his second of the game as time expired, and South got out of there with a critical and important, and who knows, maybe the kind of victory that just propels you on to bigger and better things all season long.
And, Jay, we should have a really good one for our viewers tonight. South Brunswick's captains, number 42, Shelton Bocook, number 38, Garrett Frazier, number 10, the hero from last week, Mr. Noah Harrell, and, of course, senior athlete Danny Parker. For the Vikings, captains, number 12, quarterback Sam Jones, two stalwarts on a Hoggard defense, and number 5, Jackson King, and number 10, Xavier James Smith. And lastly, number 50, Quincy Rhodes. Partner, Hoggard, lone blemish on their record here in the fall 2021 season. A loss to a 4A state championship contender in Wake Forest, and a close game it was. The Vikings have responded with two consecutive wins, including a 28-14 win over West Brunswick a couple weeks ago. And then a game last week, Hoggard won against Topsail that was tied at halftime. And, of course, we were here last week for South Brunswick's just exhilarating, thrilling victory over New Hanover. South did not have a lead in that game, partner, until there were, 4 seconds left when Harrell's second field goal split the uprights?
Yeah, well, they had the lead at the exact right time, Sam, and they're going to be challenged here tonight. Hoggard's an awfully good football team, but South has been up to it all year long. Hopefully they will be again here this evening.
Hoggard will kick off to begin the night. South Brunswick will receive the opening kickoff, and we'll have all the action for you right here on ATMC TV. And we are back here on ATMC TV, the two squads getting ready to take the field. Jay, I'm sensing a pink theme inside of Jack Campbell Stadium tonight. You see the cheerleaders, pom-poms, the student section, breast cancer awareness night, and here come the Cougars.
Well, I see Theo Ward, number 53, at the front of the line carrying the American flag, and this has got to be, a lot of butterflies for the Cougars here this evening. I don't know how many times in these kids' career that they've had an opportunity to play in a game that has as much riding on it as this. But indeed they do this evening, and they have earned it. They are led offensively and defensively by the kid they call the athlete, number 3, Danny Parker, the senior. Almost 600 yards rushing on the season, 8 touchdowns. 4 games he's gone over 100 yards, and he's caught 10 passes for 73 yards and a score. And defensively, he's got 25 tackles, a couple of interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery. Offensively, Jamison Prince, the precocious freshman quarterback, 543 yards, 4 scores, 1 interception all year long, and he's rushed for 66 yards and a pair of TDs. And his principal receiver is getting real good, Sam, and that would be Michael Shrewsbury, the junior wide receiver, 16 catches, 210 yards, and 3 scores. Defensively for the Cats, Shelton Bucook, he is so good. A senior linebacker, 64 tackles, 3 sacks. Number 38, Garrett Frazier, the junior linebacker, 38 tackles, 11 sacks. And the big guy in the middle, 65, Demarius Wise, 46 tackles and 3 sacks.
Jay, we're going to get a look at that South Brunswick offense early. Hoggard won the game's opening coin toss, deferred possession to the second half. So South Brunswick in the gray uniforms and the Carolina blue lids will be moving left to right on your screen. Of course, Hoggard in the all whites with the navy blue helmets. And Jay, you mentioned this briefly. How long have seniors like Danny Parker and Bishop Brown and Noah Harrell and Shelton Bocook, how long have these kids from South Brunswick been waiting on an opportunity just like this?
Well, a long time, but they paid their dues, and they're in a position now to do something.
And South going to get a chance to return the opening kickoff, bobbled at around the 5, and Hoggard covers the game's opening kickoff beautifully. The return man, number 6, the junior Antoine Thompson, bobbled the sky-high kick from Sorrells and then was knocked down right at the 15-yard line. The Cougars will take over 1st and 10 at their own 15.
Aldair Serrato, the junior, leading a bunch of Vikings downfield on that special teams play. So we get our first look at the evening at the South Brunswick offensive attack, again led by freshman quarterback Prince.
South's going to take to the air on the first play. Pass complete to Danny Parker. Upended very close to the line to gain. Jay's going to be marked. I think he's going to be marked right at the 25, and it is going to be enough for a first down on the first offensive snap of the game for South Brunswick.
This is what South did last week against New Hanover. They came out kind of throwing it all over the field, and Parker, the senior, the recipient that time, his catch number 11 on the year.
And Jay, something to watch out for when South Brunswick has the ball. Defensive end for Hoggard, number 10, Xavier James Smith, one of the area's elite pass rushers. So keep an eye on him tonight. Where's number 10? Parker still on his feet. Partners fighting for extra yardage. Finally dropped at the 27. And Jay, involved in that play is Hoggard's safety, the reigning Mid-Eastern Conference Defensive Player of the Year, and that is senior safety Jackson King.
Yeah, they got a bunch of good players defensively. They only give up 11 points a game as a team. And you just mentioned King, James Smith, and Michael Yingling, an outstanding defensive player too.
Oh, pass thrown to Basil Abrams, still on his feet, got first down yardage and more. So the sophomore quarterback, Jamison Prince, off to a fast start, completes his first 2 passes of the night. That one good enough for a first down to Abrams. The Cougars have a 1st and 10 at their own 43.
If the offensive line for South Brunswick can keep Jamison Prince upright, he's not afraid to throw the football and can wing it around pretty good.
How about this, Jay? Empty formation here. Prince in the backfield by himself, fires a slant pass, very nearly picked off. And as we just said, Jackson King, number 5, seems to always be around the ball, and he got there just in time, and the pass nearly deflected right into the hands of number 34, Quintel Green, the junior middle linebacker, but it hit the turf, falls incomplete. Will set up a 2nd and 10 from the 43.
Yeah, King is a good one. 38 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, and he even has a sack from that safety position.
Abrams in motion to the top of your screen. Hand off to Parker. Little running room, brought down right at the line of scrimmage. It was number 19, the junior defensive end, Michael Yingling, on the stop. A gain of, well, Parker picked up 2 yards to the 45-yard line. And, Jay, these are one of the situations South wants to try to avoid as much as possible in you know, what we often call obvious passing downs.
Yeah, to the extent that they can control the downs, they'll be much tougher here this evening.
That pass was intended for number 12, Mark Bishop. Sailed a little bit on quarterback number 7, Jamison Prince. And after a couple first downs, the Hoggard defense stands tall, and South Brunswick brings on the punt team on 4th and 8, ball at the South 45.
Not a bad series for South Brunswick. They picked up a couple of first downs and got a chance to put the ball on the other side of the field.
A low driving kick, bounces at about the 25. Finally picked up by Hoggard's number 4, Brian Valadares. Jay, he's got room. A flag, Jay. I think Valadares is going to score, and it's going to be all for naught. Garrett Frazier tried to chase him down and couldn't. So for right now, Hoggard takes a 6-0 lead, but I believe instead Hoggard's going to be starting this possession from about its own 17-yard line.
Well, he broke awful clean, awful quick, Sam, and my guess is that that flag helped him to do that. So,
and Jay, I think they got somebody on Hoggard for one of those peel back or blindside blocks. You know, someone on the South punt team was chasing Valadares, and from out of his line of sight came a Hoggard punt return team member and just laid him out down near the 25-yard line. So and I think that was the call. We'll see where the ball is marked.
Well, they're going to mark it back quite a ways, Sam. So the field position gained that time by South Brunswick is big, not to mention taking 6 points off the board. So,
and it was, Jay, that was a 15-yard penalty, so it was a personal foul, illegal blindside block, I guess you call it. And so each team has started its initial possession inside its own 20-yard line. Hoggard with a 1st and 10 at its own 14. That's going to be Williams on the ground against just a really tough South Brunswick defensive front. And look at Hoggard pushing the pile, partner.
Well,
I mean, look at it. Is someone going to blow a whistle?
Wow.
Eventually, yes, but after a 9-yard gain from the 14-yard line to the 23, so Sam Williams, who has just a great first name, by the way, picks up 9 yards on Hoggard's first offensive snap, setting up a 2nd and 1, balls at the 23.
Sam Williams, 349 yards before that game there.
And Williams on the carry again. Jay, he's going to be really, really close to the line to gain.
You know, most football games, Sam, are one up at that line of scrimmage, and there's some big guys on both sides of the ball here tonight banging away. Offensively for Hoggard, their quarterback, Sam Jones, is a good one, 702 yards, 69% completion rate, 4 scores. His only Achilles heel is he's thrown 6 interceptions this year.
He's going to look to throw. Had a man open in the middle of the field, number 3, Trey Parks, but Jones had to make the throw on the run and threw it low and behind Parks. Incomplete pass sets up a 2nd and 10. Hoggard, or the ball rather, is marked at about the 24.5-yard line.
Some pressure that time from 65 to Demarius Wise. Wise, a big guy at 285 pounds.
Another defensive lineman to watch, Rashad McNeil there on the defensive line. They're going to throw that pass to number 3. That was Parks again, but off of his fingertips and incomplete. And, Jay, since the first couple games of the season, this is an area where Hoggard has just not quite found its footing offensively, is airing it out. You know, I think everyone knows about the run game and the, running back by committee, and Sam Williams and Sam Jones can run it too. But the Vikings looking for some more explosive plays in the passing game.
Dangerous quarterback, though, in Jones, and a couple of good receivers. We're going to run the ball this time.
And Garrett Frazier read it beautifully. Number 65, Demarius Wise, was also there. And after an initial first down on this possession, South Brunswick forces the Vikings backwards, setting up a 4th and 11. Ball is at the 23-yard line and will almost assuredly result in a Hoggard punt.
Tell you what, that is a good first possession for the South Brunswick Cougars, dodging that bullet on the special teams return for a score, but showing up well in that first 4 downs against the Vikings.
Bishop Brown and Mason Howlett back deep. It's a low kick. Boy, it bounces by Howlett, came awfully close to him, and is going to roll. Oh, Jay picked it up at the very end. And it is blown dead at the 33-yard line. So maybe Howlett trying to get a little sneaky there and pick it up when Hoggard was done paying attention or about to down the ball. But the result stays the same. Let's see, Jay, 26-17, a 43-yard punt there down at the 33, and South Brunswick offense will come on the field for the second time tonight.
Sorrell's the punter for Hoggard. Is a good kicker. We were watching him in the pregame banging him into the end zone from the 50. So he's got a lot of leg.
He's got a leg on him for sure. So South Brunswick back on offense. 2 receivers to the top, 2 to the bottom. Danny Parker flanks Prince in the backfield. Abrams in motion. High snap. Handed off to Parker. And he is dropped after a gain of about 2.5, 3 yards out to the 36-yard line. Jay, it'll be interesting to see how Hoggard holds up defensively tonight. And speaking to some area coaches, specifically Brett Hickman at West Brunswick after playing Hoggard, he said, Sam, they're every bit as good on defense as we were in 2019, as New Hanover was in 2019. And we remember those 2 defenses well. And look at there's Xavier.
Right on cue.
The X-Man. Xavier James Smith almost took the handoff from Prince there and wrapped up Parker and slung him to the turf for about a 5-yard loss back to the 32-yard line. A 4-yard loss, and that's going to set up a 3rd and 11 again, if at all cost, a situation the Cougars and head coach Rocky Lewis want to avoid against this elite Hoggard defense.
Yeah, James Smith doesn't need a lot of help, but when you got a guy out there like Quincy Rhodes, number 50, you're in good shape.
Deep pass and a little mix-up in communication between Prince and
maybe
number 2, I think, Jordan Davis.
Yeah, obviously Prince was looking for Davis to do something different, or Davis was looking for Prince to do something different. Anyway, the net out is that the Cougars are going to have to punt this ball away, and they're going to have to play a little better special teams on this one than they did that first time.
Yep, let's see if
they're coming.
Valadares will get another chance to return it. Fields this one cleanly at the 33, looking for some running room, dancing around. Oh, Jay, he's got that ball up doing those swim moves. He had the ball up above his head there, but a good return of about 16 yards. And Hoggard with some excellent starting field position on the Vikings' second drive of the contest. After the 16-yard punt return by Valadares, Hoggard will start 1st and 10 at its own 49.
Yeah, Valadares looking kind of slippery there, but hung on to the football. Let's see what Jones and company can do. Their principal receiver is number 2, Conrad Newman, with 23 catches. Have not gone to him yet.
There's a handoff up the middle. I believe that's 22, Henry Heitman, the senior tailback, brought down at the 49-yard line of South Brunswick. So Heitman picks up 2, setting up a 2nd and 8 from near midfield.
Heitman, 94 yards on the ground coming into this evening's contest. Has a score, and he's a senior. So a lot of seniors on this Hoggard squad that play big.
Jones drops back. He's got Newman, Jay. He's just a great receiver over there. Conrad Newman, and boy, Hoggard is certainly glad to have him back. He missed the West Brunswick game due to an injury, I do believe. And, boy, Sam Jones and Hoggard and Craig Underwood, boy, they're glad to have him back. The connection there, good for 10 yards and a Hoggard first down. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line of the Cougars. Hoggard on the move.
Catch number 24 on the year, 276 yards.
There's Heitman again, off right tackle. had a little crease there, kind of skipped across the 35-yard line, brought down at the 34. But, Jay, you'll take that on 1st and 10 all night if you're the Vikings. A solid 5-yard gain, a good run by Heitman. And Hoggard staying on schedule here in its second drive of the game.
Yeah, Hoggard's on time, as they say, in this particular drive with that nice 5-yard pickup on first down.
There's a play action. Jones looking for a man. McNeil trying to flush him out of the pocket. And finally, Jones has to throw it away. Excellent, excellent coverage downfield by the South Brunswick Cougars. And a nice job by McNeil in pursuit of Jones there, forcing the throwaway.
Yeah, and a smart play by the senior quarterback that time because, as you mentioned, Sam, great coverage downfield. He was getting pressure from McNeil and just tosses it out of bounds, knowing that he's still got a very makeable situation at 3rd and 5.
Jay, matchup to keep an eye on down here. Newman matched up against a sophomore corner. That's behind the line of scrimmage. Heitman fighting for yardage. Slung down by Shelton Bocook. It'll officially go down as no gain on the probably a running play if we're getting real technical. But a big tackle by Bocook, and somebody for Hoggard missed a block there, and it looks like Hoggard is going to leave its offense on the field for this 4th and 5 play.
If you're going to miss a block, that ain't the right guy to miss the block on is Bocook. 64 total tackles he's been involved in before this game started this evening. He is a good one.
Empty set for Hoggard.
Pressure.
Jones fires it in the middle of the field. What a defensive play.
How about that?
Number 10, Noah Harrell. It looked like Carter Moses, the Hoggard tight end, was going to secure the catch. The throw was right on target, but Harrell punched it away at the last minute. And South Brunswick forces a turnover on downs. We're still scoreless here, 3:35 left in the opening frame.
I swear now, watching these kids from South Brunswick, these kids don't know they're supposed to lose, right? They're supposed to not be able to.
This is Hoggard after all, right?
Slug it out with the big boys. But last week they did it against New Hanover, and darn if they're not doing it early on again this evening against the Vikings of Hoggard.
Abrams in motion.
Oh.
I think that probably would qualify as a read option play, and I'm not sure any read that Prince possibly made right there was going to end up well for South Brunswick. Hoggard had about 4, maybe 5 defenders who were ready to tackle the ball carrier or the running back or Prince there if he would have kept it. So a loss of 5 yards on 1st and 10 sets up a 2nd and 15 from the 29-yard line of the Cougars.
Yeah, James Smith and Rhodes destroying people.
Boy, did you see Smith? Number 10, again, got to Prince as he was getting rid of the ball, and the pass just kind of fluttered out of his hands and fell to the turf incomplete. So in back-to-back possessions, Jay, South has faced a 3rd and 11 and now a 3rd and 15.
Looks to me like they kind of move the X-Man around on that defensive line, and he is not only strong but quick, and that might get 5 back.
Yep. South is going to get a free 5 yards there. It is a neutral zone infraction by the Vikings. 5 yards will be marked off, and Jay at least makes it a little more manageable here. 3rd and 10 from the 34.
Well, not only more manageable, of course, but if they're not able to pick it up here, they'll be in a little better position to try to turn the field on the punt.
Two receivers to the bottom of the screen, 2 to the top, 3rd and 10. And they try to catch Hoggard napping, and they do. A handoff right up the gut on 3rd and 10. And Danny Parker rumbles his way to the 46-yard line for a big gain. The 49-yard line of Hoggard. About a 16, 17-yard gain and enough for a South Brunswick first down.
Yeah, for a minute I thought they were going to throw the flag. That was a pretty high tackle by Eichelberger. It was legit, but it was getting close. Danny Parker over 600 yards rushing this year now on that carry.
Shrewberry in motion. Now back out toward the top of the screen. Prince gets the snap. screen
Oh.
in the middle of the field, and Danny Parker could not come up with it. And, Jay, it's going to be a roughing the passer penalty, I do believe, against Hoggard. It is roughing the passer. The Viking defensive lineman roughed up Prince after he had released the ball, and so that's going to move the ball from the 49 to the 34, and now it's the Cougars in business here with 2:15 left in the first quarter inside the 35-yard line of the Vikes.
Sam, isn't it amazing? It all started with that 5 yards offside penalty,
on a
right?
3rd and 15.
On a
That's
third,
right.
Yeah. And,
great point.
They bust a big run, and now they are beneficiaries of a penalty, and all of a sudden the ball's in Hoggard territory at around the 35-yard line. That was a great call that time, by the way. Parker's not going to drop that ball that much.
5 receivers, empty set. Prince's throw is kind of a corner route there, and it bounced to the turf incomplete at around the 20-yard lines. That'll set up a 2nd and 10 from the Hoggard 34. And, boy, Prince and Jay, I think it's safe to say at this point, and this is certainly no knock on South Brunswick's front 5, but this Hoggard pass rush is just getting to Prince. Most times he drops back.
Did it again?
Yep. Another offside penalty against Hoggard, and there's a free 5 yards. Very, very uncharacteristic, Jay, for a well-coached, sound, physical football team. You don't see Hoggard making these mistakes a lot.
Yeah, and that's Xavier James Smith, who's one of the premier defensive players in the league. Got fooled by the freshman quarterback, Jameson Prince, sophomore quarterback.
Handoff right up the gut, and not much doing there for Danny Parker up the middle. Maybe picked up one to the 33-yard line. So, Coach Combs, 3rd and 4 from the ball's at the 28-yard line. Thinking 2 plays to get 4 yards?
Well, you could, certainly, but then don't forget, you got a kid who's not afraid to kick in kind of pressure situations in Noah Harrell. So, Rocky Lewis may want to leave his options open a little bit here. But it's got 2 downs to do it, that's for sure.
Minute and a half left in the opening quarter. Prince drops back. He's brought down.
That's what you didn't want. Yeah.
Number 19, Michael Yingling, the junior defensive end, sacks Jamison Prince. And, Jay, not only was it a sack, it was a loss of about 12 yards. So it will set up a 4th and 16. Ball is spotted at the 40-yard line of Hoggard.
Well, Yingling did that time what he does best, which is sack. That is sack number 7 on the year for the junior defensive end.
Through 5 games and less than a quarter. Impressive numbers. Oh! Harrell got the kickoff, Jay, and I think he was trying to kick one of those low ones that, bounced toward the corner, but it kind of came off the side of his foot and rolled out of bounds at the 29. So just an 11-yard punt. And South Brunswick misses an opportunity there to really pin the Vikings back deep up against their own end zone. But still, you didn't give them excellent starting field position, just not quite as good as South probably would have hoped.
Sam, I always tell you in throwing the football, it's location, not rotation. I guess in punting the football, it's different. That had a perfect spin. It was just a lousy location.
Sam Williams, holding. Williams picked up about 11 yards and enough for a 1st down. But if the South Brunswick sideline reaction is any indication, it's going to be a holding penalty against the Vikings.
Pretty quickly played first quarter. 39.8 seconds to go.
Jay, roughing the passer, holding, blindside block on the punt return, and 2 offsides penalties. That is 5 Hoggard penalties in the opening 11 and a half minutes of this game.
Very un-Hoggard-like.
Boy, they're on pace for 20 tonight.
Very un-Hoggard-like, for sure.
So it's going to bring up the all too common 1st and 16 from the 23-yard line. Hoggard needs its own 39 for a 1st down. And now it's South Brunswick's turn to jump into the neutral zone before the snap. So now we get something else we see all the time, partner, 1st and 11.
A lot of penalties here early on, huh? don't want to say that South Brunswick has to play a perfect game, right? But they sure want to make as few penalties and mistakes as possible to stay in this.
So Hoggard 1st and 11 from the 28-yard line. Jones rifles a pass out to Newman to the right. Hit just as soon as he made the grab by number 3, Danny Parker.
Wow.
61, McNeil was also there. That's going to be a loss of yardage back to the 27. So a loss of 1 on the completion to set up a 2nd and 12. And partner, with 15 seconds left in the first quarter, let's see if Hoggard wants to try to get a snap off before the break.
Parker makes yet another big play, this time defensively.
Hoggard is going to snap it and pitch it over to Williams, trying to turn the corner. And he gets a little bit of running room, dragged out of bounds at the 35-yard line. So a gain of about 8 yards, but Hoggard forced into a 3rd and 4 situation. And we will have that play for you and much, much more after the break. We're scoreless in Bowling Spring Lakes, 0-0 after 1 on your game of the week.
Are you looking for a rewarding career? ATMC wants you to join our team. We offer opportunities for career growth in a challenging work environment. Visit atmc.com/careers to view current job openings.
And we're back for the start of the second quarter. Scoreless here at Jack Campbell Stadium. Hoggard faces a 3rd and 4 from its own 35. Jones is going to try to keep it, and he was going to be met there by number 44, Ian DeWhite. So Jones actually probably loses a yard back to the 34, and that will set up a 4th and 5. Boy, not a whole lot of offense going on. And Jay, honestly, it's been South Brunswick who's had more success moving it against Hoggard than the other way around.
Yeah, well, both teams play excellent defense. That's for sure. Hoggard only giving up 11 points a game, and South Brunswick, I think, are only giving up around 5 points a game. So early on, defense has been in charge.
High bobbling kick on the ground. It's still on the ground. I believe Valadares recovered it for the Vikings. Wow. A muffed punt was number 5, Bishop Brown, who could not corral the Sorrell's punt. And the first big break turnover of the night forced by the Hoggard special teams as they pounce on the muffed punt, and the Vikings will take over 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line of South Brunswick.
Yeah, it's too bad Brown, if he had merely just caught the ball, they had pretty good field position, mid-30s. And as it is, let's see what, good teams take advantage of these kinds of opportunities. And we know Hoggard is a good team. Let's see what the Vikes can do on this down.
And, Jay, the one thing you got to feel decent about, though, if you're South Brunswick is, the way the defense is held up through a quarter. Hoggard's really had a tough time moving it on them. So even with the excellent starting field position, you certainly feel like you can get a stop. Little pop pass around the left end, good for about 3 yards to the 39. I believe that was Session there on the catch.
An easy on Session, a freshman wide receiver for Craig Underwood's Hoggard Vikings. The rich get richer when ninth graders make plays.
So 2nd and 7 from the 39. Jones in the shotgun, flanked by Heitman. Fade route to Conrad Newman. He made that catch.
What
an individual effort by Conrad Newman. Pass from the 39-yard line all the way down to the 11, a gain of 28 yards and a Hoggard first down. Jay, that pass was very nearly picked off by Howlett over there, but what a play.
Yeah, I don't know that you could play much better defense than Howlett did that time, but Newman, premier receiver, comes up with a great catch.
Jay, I already made my first yard line mistake of the night. The pass was down to the 16-yard line, not the 11, and then it was Heitman on the Caden Holler, on the first down carry, a gain of 1. So now, I think I got it right now, we've got it 2nd and 9 from the 15-yard line of South Brunswick. 2nd and 9, ball at the 15.
Good first down by the South Brunswick D after that great catch by Newman. They need to be strong again. Oh.
Pass complete over there to Parks, and he is wrestled down at the 18-yard line, a loss of 3, and that's going to set up a 3rd and 12 for the Hoggard Vikings.
Sam, was that 6 Antron Thompson or 5 Bishop Brown? I think it was Thompson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that he was in no man's land that time. He was either him or the ball carrier.
Or a touchdown, right?
You bet.
South Brunswick head coach Rocky Lewis races down the sideline and calls for a timeout before this 3rd and 12 snap from the 18-yard line. It looks like Hoggard needs about the 6-yard line for a first down. Jay, your impressions through 15 minutes of game action. We had a conversation on the way here tonight that, we could envision a low-scoring slugfest, and, well, that's exactly what we've gotten so far.
They've been slugging each other for sure. There are some quality athletes on both sides of the ball for both teams out there this evening, and you've seen them play really well. Obviously, mistakes have been, as they always are in football, a big part of this game. Hoggard with those 5 penalties in the first quarter, and many of them, critical big play penalties. In fact, one took away a punt return for a touchdown, and now the fumbled punt here gives Hoggard an excellent opportunity with this 3rd down situation. 3rd and what?
12. Yep, 3rd and 12 at the 18. Jones in an empty set, 2 receivers to the top of the screen, 3 to the bottom, including the big 6'7" tight end Carter Moses and his number 1 target Conrad Newman at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, Moses is a big kid.
They're just going to run the draw.
Yeah,
and Jones is still on his feet. The big guy rumbles inside the 5, brought down at the 1-yard line, a gain of 17 yards, and it sets the Vikings up with a 1st and goal from the 1. 8:56 left before halftime.
What a wonderful call by the Hoggard staff that time. They spread him out, and then they let Jones just run right up the middle.
And now they go heavy, partner. Heitman around the left side, very close to the end zone. The Hoggard offensive line trying to push him across, and they do. So Heitman from 2 yards out caps the 42-yard scoring drive. Of course, the key play, a big 25-yard completion from Sam Jones to Conrad Newman, and then on 3rd and 12, a quarterback draw for about 16 yards by Sam Jones, leading to Heitman's 2-yard TD plunge. Hoggard 6, South Brunswick 0, 8:43 left before the break.
Sorrell's in for the extra point. Sasser the holder.
Good snap, good hold, kick is up, kick is good. Ball boy makes an excellent catch there behind the goal post, and the Hoggard Vikings have taken a 7-0 lead, roughly 8.5 minutes left to go before halftime. And Jay, boy, turnovers can just really shake things up, can't they? It was tit for tat for the first quarter and some change, and South Brunswick forces a punt and then mishandle the Sorrell's punt, and Hoggard goes down and scores after a key 3rd down conversion, and suddenly you look up and you're down 7 and feel like in a lot of ways you've outplayed them, right?
Yeah, and again, I think I said it, I hope I did, that good teams usually take advantage of opportunities, and we know Hoggard's a great team, and they certainly took advantage of that opportunity. And two big plays, the pass and the wonderful catch by Newman, and then the great play call and execution on the draw with Jones running the football, and Heitman goes in and gives the Vikes a 7-0 lead with all kinds of time to go.
So Hoggard will kick off again. Sorrells this time a high end-over-end kick. And it's going to be returned out by Thompson. Jay, he's got room and a lot of it across his own 40, across midfield. Finally driven out of bounds at the 41-yard line, and they're going to add on 15 more as Hoggard whistled for a late hit out of bounds over there. South Brunswick going to start this possession at about the 26 or 27-yard line of the Vikings. Boys, special teams again. South Brunswick made a blunder on punt return team, and they may have just flipped the game again in their favor on the kick return.
Last week when we were here to do the South New Hanover game, I mentioned I did not see Antoine Thompson play. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know the situation, but we saw him playing before the game started here tonight, and Sam said, hey, I think your guy Thompson's going to play tonight, and it looks like he really came to play. Big kick return, had a big tackle on the last series. So Antoine Thompson, the junior running back, defensive back, giving the Cougars a big lift when they needed it most.
And, Jay, it really is a game of inches. If that kickoff travels another foot, it's across the goal line and dead in high school football where you can't run it out. But fielded cleanly at the goal line, and, about 70 yards later, here's South Brunswick. Abrams with the catch. Oh, boy, face mask. Face mask. My eyes aren't great, but I know I saw his head kind of rip, back toward our direction. So, Jay, that is now the 7th penalty of the first half for Hoggard. The completion was good for about 10 yards to the 17. They'll mark off half the distance to the goal. So, South going to have a first and goal from about the 8, maybe 9-yard line here.
Sam, how many? You've done Hoggard games all your life. They've made more penalties tonight than they made in most seasons, right? Here,
yeah,
I mean,
I don't think I've ever seen. I definitely have never seen them commit 7 penalties in 15 minutes of game action.
And Sam, we're not talking about 5 yards encroachment or stuff like that. We're talking biggies, 15 at a pop.
That's the third 15-yarder, if I'm not mistaken. The face mask, the late hit out of bounds, and the roughing the passer. Oh, and the blindside block. So 4.
But again, you have to take advantage of these opportunities. Can South take advantage? I'd like to see Parker touch this ball.
First and goal from the 8. It's a pass. Picked off. He picked off. Is it Valadares? It is. And, boy, a good job by South Brunswick bringing him to the turf. He's one of the area's best return men, so dangerous with the ball in his hands. Number 4, Brian Valadares picks off the sophomore quarterback, Jamison Prince, on the goal line, and Hoggard dodges a major, major bullet here with 8 minutes left to go before halftime.
Boy, Brian Valadares looked like he was the intended receiver on that play. He read that perfectly, and in some ways South probably, in every way, South fortunate that he didn't go all the way.
So 1st and 10 at the 27, swing route out to the left side. I believe that was Parks over there, number 3, the senior wide receiver. It was Trey Parks. So a good first down completion from Jones to Parks. Ball moved out to the 32-yard line.
South has really, really got to dig deep now. They're reeling.
Yep, Sam Williams this time bulling his way across the 35, ruled down at the 36. So that was about a 4-yard pickup, and Hoggard going to be a yard shy of the line to gain. It's going to be 3rd and 1, a big play here. Jay, it's a lot of snaps here in the last 10, 15 minutes of real time that the South defense has played after the quick kind of, a play and then an interception and the defense right back on the field.
You got some big guys in that Hoggard offensive line. They can just lean behind, too.
And let me tell you, Jay, in any 3rd or 4th and short for Hoggard, with as big as Sam Jones is and their, massive offensive line, going to be really, really hard to stop them on one of those, old-fashioned quarterback sneaks.
Well, Jones 6'6", 215, but he's running behind guys 255, 285, 290, 235. I mean, a big, impressive O-line.
First and 10. They got him.
They got him wide open.
Oh, he held on to it. That was number 17, Kyle McCarthy. Hoggard faked the bubble screen and then kind of slid the receiver in behind. Danny Parker got there right as the ball was arriving to McCarthy and tried to separate him from the football. And McCarthy does an excellent job hanging on. 11 plus 8, a 19-yard completion. And Hoggard in South Brunswick territory again, first and 10 at the Cougar 42.
Third catch of the year for McCarthy. Looks like he's got a lot more in him.
Bubble screen again. Conrad Newman, the recipient this time. South Brunswick trying to rip the ball away from Newman and could not accomplish that. So ball out to the, Jay, we'll call it the 37-yard line for a gain of 5 to set up a 2nd and 5.
And you can see Hoggard kind of picking up the pace
Tempo.
here, Sam.
Yep, tempo. Sam Williams. And it's working, I think, partner. Hoggard having a little more success running between the tackles here the last couple possessions. That was Sam Williams from the 37 to the 33-yard line. And once again, Jay, I think you'll see Hoggard line up in this heavy set, put Jones under center, and run the sneak. I'd be shocked if they didn't. Boy, how about a bootleg here? Nope. That's a first down and then some, all the way out to about the 31-yard line. A gain of a couple yards, maybe 3, and Hoggard with a fresh set of downs here. It'll be first and 10, ball marked at the South 31.
Just got some big kids out there on that O-line for Hoggard, and they are starting to take over that line of scrimmage.
Play action. Jones, middle of the field. Oh, man, if McCarthy wouldn't have got his hand up there, I think Danny Parker was going to pick off that pass across the middle of the field. So a good job by number 17, Kyle McCarthy. And, boy, Parker was all over it from his safety position, playing center field. Had a good chance at an interception there had McCarthy not deflected it.
And that's the one thing that Jones has had an issue with this year is throwing interceptions. He's thrown 6.
Williams in motion, screen. Heitman's got it. Chased down from behind by number 44, Ian Dwight. And, boy, Jay, fortunately for the Cougar faithful, Dwight was there because I didn't see anyone else around Heitman after he caught that screen pass.
Yeah, Dwight, a 5'7", 180-pound junior linebacker. That's had 20 total tackles before tonight's game. You can add at least 1, and I think you've called his name out a couple of times already this evening. So a lot of impressive linebackers for South Brunswick, Dwight being one of them.
3rd and 8, ball at the 29-yard line of the Cougars. Hoggard picks up a blitz. Jones rolls out to his left and then falls down. He just slipped, Jay, as he was looking for a receiver down the field. And, partner, that may be important in that it might have knocked it may have knocked Hoggard far enough back to where Coach Underwood may not bring on his field goal unit. Before the snap, it would have been, the ball was at the 29, would have been about a 46-yarder. What do you think?
Well, it looks like Sorrells is in, but
yep, to punt.
The punting Sorrells. Now, Sam, if you're going to fake a punt, this would not be a terrible place on the field in which to do it.
But, boy, what a critical stop by the South Brunswick defense.
They needed that.
Just had to have it and got it at the right time. A high end-over-end kick. Oh, it takes a Hoggard bounce.
That's
still rolling. Oh. Jay, I believe number 19 there thought the 5 was the goal line, and he reached down and smacked it, thinking, I don't want it to roll into the end zone. But,
yeah.
I think that may have been a small little break for South Brunswick because that thing was still rolling toward the goal line, and Hoggard was there to stop it.
Terrific punt by Sorrells, that's for sure.
Incredible punt.
And Coach Underwood plays a little field position here, and if South is going to score, they're going to have to go 95 yards.
Yep, and Jay, time becoming a factor here in the sense that there's only 3:39 left before halftime, and Hoggard has all 3 of its timeouts left. and South Brunswick with 2. So Hoggard with a real chance to get the ball back before halftime. We'll see what South Brunswick's offense can do to answer that.
Interested to see how Prince responds to that coming off the heels of that goal line interception.
He's a gunslinger. South's going to keep it on the ground. Still on his feet, Parker. The receiver gets a block. He's got a lot of room across his own 30. Late hit.
That's going to be a flag.
Yeah, that's late.
It's got to be a flag.
It was. 2 came in.
Oh, man, and things are getting a little rough. That's
boy, that was way late.
James
Jay.
Smith in the middle of that blue shirted South Brunswick huddle on the side of the field there, and they need to pull him away.
Boy,
again,
man.
critical penalties against Hoggard, a premier team, and James Smith is being called over to the sidelines, and I'm sure they want to try to calm him down a little bit. So, Sam, they did throw a flag, did they not?
No, 2 flags came in.
Okay, so they have not yet marked it off, and
yeah,
there's
there
the call.
There's the call. Now they'll mark it off. The end of the run was the 43, so now the ball's going to end up at about the Hoggard 42-yard line. So how about that, going from your own 5 to the opponent's 42?
You know, I'm watching Jackson King, the senior, going down there and pulling one of the – now, he's a number 6. I'm not sure who that is. We don't have a 6 on the Hoggard roster. It might be – well, I don't know who it is. Anyway, he pulled him away from the South Brunswick sideline, which was the absolute smart and right thing to do, what you'd expect the reigning defensive player of the year to do, right? So,
yep, good leadership shown by some other Hoggard defenders there. And, Jay, Parker was run out at the 34-yard line, so 15 from there is why the ball is moved out to the 49. I thought Parker got a little further up toward us, but
Sam,
run out at the 34.
South's probably got 75 yards in penalties.
Deep pass, he's got a man.
Oh,
Parker
close.
A little bit overthrown. He was running with Eichelberger down the seam and just a little too much juice on it from Jamison Prince. It falls to the turf incomplete. We'll set up a 2nd and 10 from the South 49-yard line.
Yeah, Parker slid out of the backfield that time, and Prince had time and delivered a pretty good ball, just a little bit overthrown for Parker to catch up to. Good battle between him and Eichelberger on that ball.
And James Smith back in the game, partner. Defensive end at the top of the screen. Oh no. Prince faked the little jet sweep and tried to keep it up the middle. He was brought down right at the line of scrimmage. So no gain, no loss there. And it will bring up a 3rd and 10 from the South Brunswick 49-yard line. Jay, we're right at the 3-minute mark here in the second quarter. So 3 minutes left before halftime.
Not a bad call that time, trying to do something with Prince's legs, but he unfortunately ran into one of his own players, Danzel Bernard.
Still on his feet. Lofts a pass just over the outstretched arms of Jackson King, who was trying to come up with the interception for Hoggard. And so 2 incomplete passes and a run by Prince for no gain kind of stalled this South Brunswick possession. Sets up a 4th and 10 from near midfield, and will bring on number 10, Noah Harrell, in the South Brunswick punting unit.
Shrewsbury, the intended receiver, and they've done a good job of defending him tonight. A lot of white shirts coming.
Harrell gets it away.
Pretty good
Kicks
kick.
it away from Valadares, who fields it on one hop, has got room up on the visitors' sideline, and just kind of trots out of bounds. Where, partner? Trying to see where.
32, maybe 30.
That's where I thought, but the ref came and marked it back at about the 28.
I think they got it straightened out now.
There we go. Okay.
Well,
I was looking at the wrong guy there, partner.
Sam.
No, it was ruled out at the 28.
Well, there you go.
29.
Okay. This kid Valadares.
I like it.
Wow. That first step is huge.
Yep.
He gets going, man. He's a tough guy.
1st and 10, ball at the Hoggard 29. Hoggard leads 7-0. Hoggard going to move the pocket. Jones got a man. It's Parks. He called it partner, but he's brought down at the 31, so a gain of 2. And I was going to ask you before that snap, Jay, how aggressive do you want to be here if you're Craig Underwood? And remember, Hoggard gets the ball after halftime to start the second half.
Well, you know what? Pretty aggressive, I think. Go ahead and take some shots if they can get the ball upfield. By the way, nice tackle that time by a sophomore, Brantley Baker.
Pass intended for number 9, Carter Moses, and I believe Carter tried to turn around and run upfield before he had secured that catch.
Well,
so
do you blame him for taking a peek because Parker was coming?
No, I don't.
Hey, look at Parker's coming unwrapped out there, number 3. He's at around the 40-yard line. He's got stuff hanging off his left shoulder there. We'll see it in a minute.
Yeah, he might be coming unraveled, but South Brunswick far from it. Playing a tough first half. Sam Williams on the keep, trying to find running room around the left side. Jay, he's short.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, he may have just got to the marker, but maybe a first down saving tackle. We're going to wait. They marked first down.
Wow, are you kidding?
Yep, first down at the 39. Boy,
Man.
He looks short of the marker.
He's short it.
Look
at Rocky Lewis.
Yeah, we're right on top of that. We're right on top of that, too. I mean, have a good angle is what I mean. And he was awarded first down yardage.
Wow, I thought Bo Cook had going to kick the ball back to his tackle on that one. Mark that one down.
Receiver in motion. Jones fakes it, looking for a man. Throws it out to the left side. Receiver brought down right at the 40-yard line, a gain of 1. And, Jay, we're all the way down to 1 minute and 20 seconds left, and now we're going to have a stoppage. Hoggard wants to call the first of its 3 available first-half timeouts. It was a gain of 1, so after the timeout, Hoggard will have a 2nd and 9 ball at their own 40-yard line.
Sam, I'll tell you what, these South Brunswick kids know how to tackle.
They sure do.
You get guys in the open field and you think, oh, man. But that time that was Dwight again making a big-time stop. So, and that's happened on several occasions here earlier in the game. Thompson with the same thing. We know Parker can hit like a freight train, and not to mention, Bo Cook and Garrett Frazier. But, they defend well, and it's – no surprise that they are a very difficult team in which to score against. And clearly, Hoggard, which is generally the premier team, that's the benchmark in this league, in this area, are having some difficulty scoring here tonight.
2nd and 9, ball at the Hoggard 40. Jones got rid of it in just the nick of time.
Wow.
Wheel route intended for Sam Williams. Boy, what an accurate throw that was.
Jeez,
he put it right over the top of Williams' head, but good coverage on the play by South Brunswick, and that's going to set up a 3rd and 9 from the 40. 1:15 left before the halftime break.
And that was Antoine Thompson in pretty good defensive position that time, but what a beautiful throw, as you mentioned, Sam, by your namesake Sam Jones that time. Man, he delivered that nice. You got to know that now if you're South. Keep him in front of you.
Another pass intended for Moses on a little tight end stop route, but falls to the turf, incomplete. So that stops the clock with 1:11 left in the second quarter, and that will bring on the Hoggard punt team.
And Sam, I do not remember, but when South Brunswick got the ball last week with not a lot of time left and had to move it down the field, they moved it down the field pretty darn quick to get into that position for Harrell to kick that field goal. Maybe they can get down and at least get a field goal opportunity.
Oh, a high snap. Oh, boy, I tell you, Sorrell's fortunate to get that one off. And, boy, he got a great bounce. After he got it off, it rolls out of bounds at the 19, 31 and another 11, a 42-yard kick. And, Jay, because of that high snap, South Brunswick came awfully close to blocking that punt.
And I actually think that was the punter for South, number 10, Noah Harrell, who almost got a blocked punt that time. So if the Cougars are going to do anything here, they got a long way to go and very little time in which to do it.
Yep. So Jay, for a touchdown, they'll have to march 81 yards and do it in exactly 1 minute. There is exactly 1 minute showing on the game clock.
And you were asking about being aggressive or not. I might want to be, get there 7-0 in the locker room's not so bad.
I think you and Rocky Lewis were on the same wavelength. They handed it off to Danny Parker, and he got across the 20 to maybe the 21. We'll give him 2 yards and call it 2nd and 8. And, Jay, I'm with you. I don't anticipate South Brunswick to get in too big a hurry here, snapping this second down play.
And we got a equipment malfunction. I think maybe all that tape coming off of Parker, number 3.
Jay, I thought if there were if there was a little more time left, Hoggard might try to call its 2 timeouts and maybe try to force at least South to get a punt away. But there's not enough time left on the game clock with the 40-second play clock to stop the clock enough times to get it back. Thompson around the right, holding. Thompson's knocked out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Looks like the penalty is going to be against South Brunswick.
Not many penalties against South here this evening, Sam. Just a truckload by Hoggard, and by many means, that's what has helped keep this game as close as it is with a 7-0 Hoggard lead.
15 seconds left in the first half. Looks like either Parker was retaped or someone just cut that little dangling piece of white tape. Yeah.
Dangling participle.
Very good.
For all those English teachers that thought there was no hope for me.
Man, you should have been a professor.
And they were right. I tried that too. It was another failure on my part.
No way, Jose.
15 years.
Another handoff. Hoggard this time ready for it. Trying to get a number there, Jay, who was on that tackle, but James Williams, I believe the junior defensive tackle, comes up with the final stop of the first half. Hoggard on a 2-yard touchdown run by Henry Heitman and some big plays by quarterback Sam Jones and Conrad Newman. Having a tough time here in Jack Campbell Stadium, but the Vikings do carry a 7-0 lead against South Brunswick on your ATMC TV Game of the Week. We'll be back with the second half.
Are you looking for a rewarding career? ATMC wants you to join our team. We offer opportunities for career growth in a challenging work environment. Visit atmc.com/careers to view current job openings.
We're almost set for the start of the second half, folks. We got football on your TV screen. We got football going on all across the state. We got football on Jay's phone. How are the Tuscarora Huskies doing tonight, partner?
Hey, they're up over a big foe of theirs, Loudoun County 7-zip in the second quarter up in Leesburg, Virginia. So they're doing okay. They're doing okay.
Jay, perfect segue because the Hoggard Vikings are up 7-0 after 2 quarters of play here in Bowling Spring Lakes. A tough first half, physical, a lot of good defensive plays, and both teams struggled to move the ball at times. Hoggard recovered a Muffed South Brunswick punt at around the 42-yard line and then marched 42 yards for the lone scoring drive of the evening. And now the Vikings will get the ball first to start the second half. I believe that's the freshman partner on the return man. Oh, a good tackle at the 30-yard line. Bo Cook. Does Bo Cook come off the field ever?
I don't know. He's doing his Danny Parker impersonation, right? But Shelton's had a great career here, and he's having just one whale of a senior year. And, again, to tag on to what I was saying in the first half, Sam, boy, these South Brunswick kids know how to tackle.
They sure do.
They're going to have to do it for 2 more quarters here tonight.
Hoggard 1st and 10 at their own 30. There's another sure tackle. That was number 9 over there, Brantley Baker. We've called his name a couple of times. He brought down Williams after a short gain of 1, setting up a 2nd and 9 from the 31-yard line.
Baker's just a sophomore. They got another kid on the team, Jack Early, who is a 5'10", 175-pound freshman and plays. He's got 11 tackles coming into the game tonight.
Ooh. Middle screen to Newman. Oh, tried to kind of get real skinny and get between 2 South Brunswick defenders and did a pretty good job to get out to the 37-yard line, a gain of 6. That's going to set up a 3rd and 3 real early in the third quarter here, Jay. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments are made from both teams. What I do know, this South Brunswick defense has now played 6 quarters and some change against New Hanover and Hoggard and allowed a grand total of 10 points.
1 touchdown.
1 measly touchdown. Newman again. He's short. He's a yard
a loose
short.
Ball too, Sam.
He's ruled down. The referee on the far side is ruling that. I believe it was Newman on the catch, partner. It was. So, boy, gut check time here for Hoggard.
He might go for it.
The quarterback sneak was so successful for him early in the game. I thought maybe, just maybe, keep the offense on the field. But instead, the Hoggard punt team is going to come on, and if Hoggard kicks it away, the South Brunswick defense is going to force a 3-and-out on the first possession of the second half.
This is why Coach Underwood's coaching and Jay Combs is not.
Likewise.
And that's no flag. Golly, this kid can kick.
High spiral punt takes a South Brunswick bounce, rolls out of bounds at about the 27-yard line, so 11 and 23 math majors out there. 34-yard punt by Sorrells, and South Brunswick will take over 1st and 10. 9:58 left here in the third quarter. Cougars will have a 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, South Brunswick, if you're looking for a big punch from Hoggard to start this second half, they kind of ducked and bobbed and weaved that time, right? And again, relying on some outstanding individual tackling to get them into the punt situation. Now they got a chance to do something.
Prince fakes the handoff, drops back to pass, got a man, incomplete pass just over the head of the intended receiver, Basil Abram Jr. And boy, he's 6'2" and he's got pretty good hops. Hard to get it over those hands.
Yeah, that one took off on Prince that time. But gosh, just a 10th grader is Jamison Prince, and golly, he just looks so poised back there. And he had a very difficult mistake with that interception at the goal line, but unflappable, just comes right back out and starts throwing again.
Under duress, Prince got it away, and boy, it was fortunate he did. He was under all kinds of pressure there by number 50, Quincy Rhodes. Man, what a name.
Yeah, he sounds like a ball player.
We can call him Dusty.
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes.
He sounds like a ball player, and he is built like one, 6'2", 250 pounds.
He's a brick house.
Yeah, he's a good one. Boy, when he and Xavier James Smith get going out there, and then you got King and Eichelberger and Yingling. They're loaded defensively.
Better Jamison Prince than me, partner.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're not chasing me is all I got to say. 3rd and 10 for South Brunswick. Ball at their own 27-yard line. Abram in motion. Coming to the near side of the screen. Now he's set. They're going to hand that one to Parker. He bobs his way. Looked like he had some room, and look at the closing speed by number 5, Jackson King. There's a reason he's the reigning Mid-Eastern Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Actually, Parker lost a yard there on the give back to the 26, so that'll set up a 4th and 11. So neither team with much going offensively here on the first 2 possessions of the 3rd quarter.
South needs a good special teams play right now, and they have struggled tonight.
And watch Valadares. He's going to have a chance, partner. He finally corralled it. Then tries to turn up near the South Brunswick sideline and does not have much room.
Brantley Baker. Oh, my.
And J58 there on that, too. Devin Galladay. He got down there and helped Baker bring Valadares down. But Hoggard with pretty good starting field position at its own 42-yard line. And, Jay, with the way with the capability of this Hoggard defense and how good it is, don't you feel like if you're South Brunswick, you've got to keep them off the scoreboard?
Oh, yeah.
Here, even though it's still, plenty of time left.
One score. Oh, look at this.
No, just absolutely read perfectly by Mason Howlett. And, Jay, that's a loss of a couple yards on a 1st and 10 pass to Newman. So, loss of 2 yards, and it will be a 2nd and 12 from the 40.
Sam, is Howlett in graduate school here at South Brunswick?
It is his 9th year.
I think so, too. And, gosh, he's good.
He's been good for a long time,
And he's got great coverage there on
just
Newman.
Right on his hip. Nowhere for Jones to throw it. And, boy, Hoggard right back in a third and long situation. Not a whole lot of plays in the playbook for 3rd and 12, but with 8:28 left in the 3rd, Coach Underwood will try to draw one up.
Well, these guys are tough. These guys being, South Brunswick, and it's not that Hoggard's not out there, picking and probing and trying to come up with something, but so far, the Cougs, until then.
Pass complete that time to number 7. Is that Eichelberger? No, that's 3. Trey Parks, number 3. Sorry, partner. I looked like a 7 there for a minute. But a huge, huge conversion, Jay. That is a 21-yard pitch and catch from Sam Jones to Trey Parks. And you hear that sigh of relief. That was the Hoggard coaching staff after the first down conversion. Oh, had him going right. And then came back left. That's a flag. Yep, shoved him out of bounds. Well after the play, too. So a 6-yard gain just turned into a 21-yard gain after the personal foul penalty. Sorry, Jay.
No. And I was just getting ready to say, this is where Hoggard has struggled tonight. They make a good play, and then they make a not-so-good play. Well, guess what? South Brunswick, first time tonight that I can recall, makes a not-so-good play with that personal foul penalty that's going to give the Vikings terrific field position.
Boy, Jay, it moved it all the way to the 17-yard line. Wow, so that ended up being a 22-yard pickup, 7 yards on the carry by Williams, and 15 more on the penalty. And now South Brunswick with its backs against the wall, 8:15 left in the 3rd, and Hoggard knocking on the door again. Back shoulder throw, caught, and a Hoggard, wait for it, touchdown. I believe that's big Carter Moses, the 6'7" tight end over by the front pylon. And Hoggard, with its second score of the night, has taken a 13-0 lead, 8:08 left in the third. Sorrell's on to attempt the extra point. Boy, the back shoulder throw, Jay, they say if it's executed properly, it's impossible to stop.
And that one certainly looked to be executed properly. And Jones with the good throw, Moses with the nice catch.
Good snap, hold is down, high end over end kick, splits the uprights, and 3 minutes and 52 seconds into the third quarter, Hoggard has taken a 14-0 lead over the South Brunswick Cougars. Jay, if you're Rocky Lewis, Jamison Prince, Danny Parker, some of the key members of that offense, how do you figure out a way to get some points on the board against just this exceptional Hoggard defensive unit?
Well, you know, and Sam, that's a good question and a certainly good observation. That, you know, we've talked a lot about how well South Brunswick has played defensively here this evening, but you know, so is Hoggard. Hoggard's biggest problem tonight has been themselves, particularly those penalties early on and inability somewhat on third downs, but they sure cured it on that possession with the nice work by Jones and Newman, and then finally the touchdown pass to Moses. But look, you know, what would help South Brunswick now is what helped them in the first half was a good kick return, got them in excellent field position before they threw the interception at the goal line.
Fielded cleanly around the 12, looking for running room. Finally brought down just across the 20 at about the 21-yard line. So South Brunswick starts a little behind the 8 ball again after a nice high. Boy, Jay, I tell you, those big high kickoffs that are fielded, you know, at the 5 or 3, it just gives the kick coverage team so much time to get down the field. And it feels like when you receive it, I mean, I'm assuming this because I was never fast enough to be a kick returner, but it probably feels like right when you catch it, they're bearing down on you, you know, to tackle you.
And it sure seemed like
room to run.
It sure seemed like it at that time. You know, South, you know, critical time of the game now, down 2 scores. They really got to put an impressive drive here together.
King.
Good way to start it.
And, you know, Jay, that is a play right there on the completion from Prince to Shrewberry against almost every other team. You know, that's going to end up being about a 15, 20-yard game. Jackson King literally from the minute the ball was snapped broke in that direction and was able to bring Shrewberry down just as he made the catch. So instead of giving up 12, 15 yards, you hold him to, you know, 6.
And that's his first catch of the night, Shrewberry, and he's been on a roll.
Deep ball to Abrams.
Ooh.
Incomplete. Boy, South Brunswick got what it wanted with Basil in one-on-one coverage down the field, but he could not come up with the contested catch, and that is going to bring up a, we'll call it 3rd and 4 with the ball at the South Brunswick 27-yard line.
See, I'm trying to identify who that Hoggard defender, that's number 2, I believe. Is that Newman? He don't play defense, does he? Can't be. I got bad eyes. Maybe that's number 6, who we're not sure who that is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It looks like a 6, partner.
Yeah, that's probably who.
3rd and 4, ball at the 27. They're going to give it to Parker, and nowhere.
Nothing.
Man, Hoggard was all over it. And one of the individuals in on that was outside linebacker Eric Wagner. Just met Parker in the hole. He did pick up about a yard to set up a 4th and 3, but that's again going to bring on the punter, Noah Harrell, and the South Brunswick punting unit.
Boy, and if Harrell's got a 50-yarder in him, South Brunswick could really use it right now. The old Mo is starting to shift.
Oh, low kick to Valadares.
Wrong guy to low kick to.
Dangerous. And he's still on his feet, brought down at the his own 49-yard line. And, Jay, that's about a 19-yard return right there. You know, one thing I've noticed about Valadares in the return game, Jay, he doesn't always, you know, field it and immediately try to reverse field or try to make the crazy play. It seems like almost every time he takes what he can get, and he goes down. And, I mean, that's a huge swing in field position. You know, a lot of high school teams, they don't field that punt right there.
Yeah.
And the ball's down at the 15-yard line all of a sudden. Instead, Hoggard's got it near midfield because of the strong work.
Brian's had a real nice game here on special teams tonight for Coach Underwood, that's for sure.
Hoggard's going to throw it on first down.
Going for the
into
jugular.
double coverage. He caught it, partner.
Goodness
he
sakes
caught that
alive.
ball. What a grab by Trey Parks. I mean, it was Antoine Thompson and Harrell were right there with excellent coverage, and Trey Parks somehow came down with that grab at the 15-yard line, 35 and 36-yard strike from Sam Jones to Trey Parks.
Yeah, the Vikes starting to make some big plays now, and certainly what a wonderful catch that time by Parks.
Tall sweep to Heitman around the left side, trying to get it outside, but Thompson was there to bring him down along with Shelton Bo Cook. And let's see, Heitman marked down at what, Jay, about the 12-yard line, maybe the 13?
Well, you know, this is a critical possession for South Brunswick, Sam. 2 scores, tough. 3 scores, yikes.
And, Jay, the thing is, even if you're Hoggard, you're thinking at least come away with 3 here, right? Because that would make it a 3-possession ball game.
The way Sorrell's kicks, yeah.
Oh, boy, what a run by Heitman. It looked like he was going to be brought down at around the 12 or 13-yard line, and he kept fighting for extra yardage and got all the way inside the 10, down at the 5 to set up a 1st and goal for the Vikings.
You know, Henry doesn't look that big, Sam. Look at him out there right now, 22 standing next to number 12, Sam Jones, who's the 6'5 quarterback, 6'6 quarterback.
Yep.
Make him look a little smaller, but let me tell you, Heitman hits that hole and hits it hard.
Well, I love this heavy package that Hoggard runs. And they've got the tight end, Carter Moses, second scoring grab of the game. Moses parts the end zone, and Hoggard has taken a 20-0 lead. 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter. 2 straight possessions have culminated with a Sam Jones touchdown pass to the 6'7" tight end Carter Moses. And boy, a fast start to the third quarter for the Vikings, and Hoggard has a commanding 20-0 lead.
Yeah, it's taken them a little while to get things headed in the right direction for the Vikings, but they're certainly doing it now.
Good snap, good hold, kick is up, kick is good, and it is 21-0. Sorrell's now 3 for 3 in extra point tries tonight. And Jay, South Brunswick played Hoggard really tough much of the night. But, boy, the first 6.5 minutes of the third quarter have been all Vikings.
Well, yeah, they for sure, Sam. And, listen, the Hoggard's come out and made some big plays. And they didn't make many big plays in the first half. In fact, the big plays they did make went against them, with the exception of the nice pass interception at the goal line and the fumble recovery. So, you know, football's a lot about big plays, and the Vikes certainly making some important third down plays, some good passing from Jones, some wonderful acrobatic catching, Parks and Newman, and, you know, Heitman in there banging things around. So right now, this looks more like what you would expect, the number 1 team in Wilmington. And I think Hoggard's still ranked in, the top 15 in the state, right? So that's a mistake.
Jay, and that's going to be a possession starting at the 4-yard line, is it not? Or wherever that ball rolled out of bounds?
Yeah, it's going to be first
at the
down.
5. Oh,
first
man.
down for South, but not in good place on the field. So when things start to snowball, Sam, they can get up on you quick. Not where Rocky Lewis's tough South Brunswick Cougars want to start from. They need a big play.
Sure do. And, Jay, South Brunswick has 0 points, but it hasn't like they just haven't been able to move it at all tonight. They've had, the first drive, I believe they got 2 or 3 first downs before they had to punt. There was a long Parker run up near midfield, a big pass completion to Basil Abrams. So South has moved the ball at different times tonight, just, no scoring drives. Oh, he's down. That was Mark Bishop over there, the recipient of that Jamison Prince pass, but he caught it and went straight to the turf as he kind of had to dive for it. Picked up a yard to the 6, so it'll be 2nd and 9 from the South Brunswick 6-yard line. 5:05 left in the third quarter. Hoggard leading 21-0.
You know, Bishop is the backup quarterback, and he too is in the 10th grade, and seen him play a few times now. It looks like a very capable wide receiver.
Oh, Jackson King. And he
hello.
separated him from the ball.
You know, Danny.
Boy, I tell you, he is a football player. And the kid he is as well,
Yes.
is Danny Parker.
I was just getting ready to say, you know, how many times has
Woo.
Danny Parker separated a player from the ball, and that time turnabout found fair play that time by Jackson King. He just leveled Parker.
Jay, he's a bad dude.
Jackson
and that
King
is
that's a good
bad dude.
And Mr. and Mrs. King, you understand that's a really good thing he just said.
Yes,
right?
I mean, that's the highest compliment I've got.
That's
you know,
right, yeah.
Oh, Prince under duress, trying to fight for first down yardage, got out to about the 11 or 12-yard line, but going to be about 3 yards shy of the line to gain. So some pretty sure tackling there by Hoggard to bring Prince down about 4 yards shy of the first down marker. And, boy, I'm going to hear this name in my sleep tonight. Back deep to return for Hoggard, Brian Valadares.
Yeah,
boy, I've seen a lot of him. We've seen a lot of him tonight.
If he just catches the ball where he is, they've got great field position.
You know, he's going to get a chance, partner.
Oh,
that
that's
was
a
a
low
low driving kick. And see, Jay, how he doesn't try to
Glides.
do anything crazy.
Yeah, he glides.
Just kind of glides forward,
Yeah.
takes what the punt coverage team gives them, and then protects the ball and gets down. And so what Valadares was able to do, you know, right there, I mean, Jay, that's a 20-yard return.
I was going to say, he was close to 20 yards
Yep.
on that. And golly, I think he took 3 steps.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, he just kind of just floats, you know, forward. It's kind of really impressive to watch.
Tell you what, when your punt returner is one of your stars of the game, pretty good night for punt returner.
Yep, there's 8 Holler, I believe, Caden Holler. And Jay, the last few years, Hoggard had a receiver by the name of Chad Holler who had a real nice career, and I got to think Caden is his little brother.
Well, I'll tell you what, Caden's on his way to having a pretty nice career.
Yep.
201 yards rushing this year, 4 scores, caught the ball 3 times. He
Jay,
can play.
and this is what Hoggard does, isn't it?
Yeah.
They lean on you, and you can withstand it for the first quarter, maybe into the second quarter. But South, unlike Hoggard, a lot of kids playing both ways, asked to do a lot on special teams. And, boy, you get late in the third quarter and into the fourth, and you just get sick of those 270-pound kids, you know, leaning on you and wearing on you. And suddenly the holes to run through get a lot wider, right?
Yeah, they do. They do. And the
Timeout.
timeout South, and not a bad call either by Rocky Lewis.
Yeah, and partner, let me ask you, if South wasn't already in a big danger zone, I think now they certainly are, down 3 touchdowns and Hoggard on the move again, right?
I'd say danger zone. Danger zone for sure. You know, Sam, I was putting the rosters together today for our game tonight, and I printed out Hoggard's roster, and it took 5 pieces of paper, right? There were like 90 kids that were on that roster. Now, we understand that a lot of those kids are on JV or freshmen or, you know, whatever the heck it is. But I've got 2.5, almost 3 full pages of Hoggard players. And to your point, at some point in the game, that sheer volume, and look, it's not just numbers of players. It's numbers of good players,
Exactly.
right? And
exactly.
They don't have to play both ways. They can get some rest, and they're good. They're just good.
There's Caden Holler again across the 10-yard line, brought down at the 7.5-yard line, gain of about 3 yards, setting up a 2nd and 7.
255, 285, 290, 235. One guy's so big they didn't even put how much he weighed. You know, so.
Oh, that's a good play there on the backside by, I believe that was 44, Ian Dwight. He just couldn't quite bring Holler to the turf, but another good positive 4-yard gain by the Hoggard Vikings. And Jay, I believe we're going to probably a 3rd and 3 from the 4-yard line with about 2.5 minutes left here in the third quarter. And Hoggard well within field goal range. Look, Jay, South getting late, getting a couple guys onto the field, and still came up with a huge stop.
Who shot that, Sam?
Hoggard tried to
Shelton in on that?
Yep, sure was. I think he was the principal tackler. And Jay, I'd be surprised if Hoggard doesn't kick this.
Yeah, I actually want to see Sorrells kick this because, you know, I'm pretty sure if he was out on Shipyard Boulevard, he'd have a shot at making it, right? So
this is going to be a 22-yard field goal attempt. Holder is 16, C.J. Sasser. Bibba, the long snapper. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up. Kick splits the uprights. Another impressive catch by the ball boy. Still a 3-possession game, but now it would take 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions for the Cougars to knot the score. And, Jay, look at the body language and just overall energy, how it shifted. You know, South Brunswick just doing everything it can to hang with this Hoggard squad, and it hasn't been real pleasant here and through 10 minutes of the third.
Yeah, in the third quarter, you know, a pretty pleasant first 2 quarters for South here this evening. But to be completely honest with you, much of that was because of the ineptitude on Hoggard's part, the surprising ineptitude, because this is a team that is so well coached and just doesn't make the kinds of mistakes that they were making in the first half. They obviously got that squared away at halftime, and they've come out here playing pretty much like the Hoggard that you would expect to see. But you know what? Still some time to do some things.
Low kick this time, bounces around the 10 and then across the 5 and the goal line for a touchback. So South Brunswick will start this possession. Is it the 25 now? Nope, 20 in high school football. What was it, Jay? A few years ago in the college and the NFL, they moved it out to the 25.
Why don't we do that here in high school?
I don't know. It seemed like it'd make more sense in high school to do it.
Put them big guys back on the 15 and put the kids out here on the 25, right?
Yep.
You know, so anyway, let's see what the Cougs can come up with here, and Jamison Prince, who's kind of been running for his life here the last couple of series. Let's see if he can come up with something on this possession.
Thompson on the give across the right side, nowhere.
Nothing.
He didn't get back to the line of scrimmage, partner. As a matter of fact, I think he lost 2 yards to set up a 2nd and 12 from the 18.
There were more white shirts running his direction than the blue shirts, Sam. So not much Antoine Thompson, the junior running back, could do on that play. 2nd down, and they lost a couple.
Sometimes I just catch myself watching Jackson King. I kind of like watching how he operates out there, Jay.
Yeah,
he's kind of the defensive captain of the captain of the defensive backfield. Abrams still on his feet. Oh, man, if he could break one more tackle, we had some more running room. But a nice pitch and catch from Jamison Prince to Basil Abrams. Jay, did he lose both shoes? He did.
He did.
Not 1, but 2. Shoeless Basil Abrams.
Yeah. Basil ran out of his shoes that time, or he got tackled out of his shoes, or maybe a little of both. But
man, there's got to be some kind
they're
of
going to
penalty.
give him a first down, Sam.
Yep, first down out to the 31-yard line. Gain of about 13 yards on the completion. Parker on the give this time, partner. He's still on his feet. He's still on his feet. Dragging tacklers across the 35 to the 39-yard line. A gain of 8 to set up a 2nd and 2 from the 39.
No quit in Mr. Danny Parker.
Jay, I think No, let's see. South Brunswick going a little tempo here. Going to be real close. Only 5 seconds left in the third quarter. So we've got a half second left before the break. It's a false start penalty against South Brunswick. So, boy, instead of 2nd and 2, you're backed up to a 2nd and 7. So South Brunswick been the more penalized team here, I do believe, in the third quarter. The Cougars trailing 24-0, and Jay, that is going to put a bow on the third quarter. And Hoggard outscores South Brunswick 17-0 in the third quarter, and the first place Vikings take a 24-0 lead into the fourth here at Jack Campbell Stadium. We'll have the final 12 minutes of game action right here for you on ATMC TV right after the break.
Are you looking for a rewarding career? ATMC wants you to join our team. We offer opportunities for career growth in a challenging work environment. Visit atmc.com/careers to view current job openings.
And we're back for the start of the fourth quarter. South Brunswick faces a 2nd and 7. Prince throws the inside slant route. Good pitch and catch to Mark Bishop, but a sure tackle by, surprise, surprise, Brian Valadares. All right, Jay, he can return punts, he can return kicks, he can tackle, he can pick off passes, as we saw earlier. So my question to you, what can't Brian Valadares do?
Tonight, not much at all. Let me tell you, he has had a splendid game defensively on special teams, and he's been a big part of this 24-0 Hoggard lead at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
He sure has. 3rd and 2, ball at the 39. South needs 2 yards for a first down. Parker's got enough. Going to be very close. He
just see him reach out.
He wisely reached out for it as he was going to the turf and was able to stretch it out to the 42-yard line of South, which is enough for a Cougar first down.
Yeah, big old Isaiah McNeil went over there and picked him up. He was so happy that he reached out there and got that first down. So a couple of first downs now in a row for the Cougs. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Prince, very nearly picked off the pass intended for Shelton Bocook. That is mystery number 6 for the Hoggard Vikings, who got there about the same time Bocook did. And Jay, that's the second or third time we've called his number.
Well, so I'm probably so far wrong here, but I'm wondering if he might be Javion Joseph.
I was wondering maybe the same.
Who was listed as number 7. But then we know Bryce Eichelberger is number 7.
Right.
So maybe Javion is number 6. Whoever he is, kid's had a nice game.
Sure has. So 2nd and 10 for South. Ball at their own 42-yard line. They need the 48 of Hoggard for a first down. Handoff up the middle. Parker goes down. We'll give them a yard to the 43. And, Jay, now that you've got to see them in person, and I know it's just been 3 quarters and a couple minutes here of the fourth. Your thoughts on Hoggard's defense?
Well, when I first met the girl that became my wife, I thought, she was the prettiest girl in the room. And when I see Hoggard's defense,
yeah,
it's pretty.
Yeah. Oh. Jay, you said it. 19 on the sack, Michael Yingling, and that was a pretty pass rush by the Vikings. So a loss of a few yards there will set up a 4th and 15 ball at the 37-yard line of South Brunswick. And Brian Valadares, one of the area's better return mans, back deep to return it for the Vikes. Another low kick. A good punt, but a low kick. Valadares has time to pick it up off the turf and return it, looking for some wiggle room there. And, Jay, what is that? Another 15, 17, 18-yard punt return by Valadares.
Yeah, Brian's numbers are going to look pretty good when they go back and look at this tape. Hey, let me just to explain about my wife. It only took me one look to know that she was the prettiest girl in the room. And it's the same thing with the Hoggard defense. You don't have to look a whole lot to realize, wow, they're good looking, right? So you got the same thing with Maggie, I know, but
absolutely,
you know what I mean.
So Jay, here's here's something that I think is important when talking about this Hoggard defense. I think they shut out Northside Jacksonville. They allowed just 7 against Scotland County, who is a perennial 4A power in North Carolina. Wake Forest only scored 15 or 16 offensive points against Hoggard. Again, Wake Forest, a state title contender. West, who is scoring a bunch of points, only scored 14 against Hoggard. Topsail, couldn't muster much offensively. And now tonight, through 3 quarters and 3+ minutes, South hasn't been able to.
Yeah, and I think that's obviously going to be the key to the fortunes of this Hoggard team as they continue on through the regular season and then ultimately into the state playoffs. They're going to ride this really strong defense and look for the offense to come up with some big plays, which they have here a few times tonight.
Oh, that was blocked beautifully. The screen pass from Sam Jones to number, Jay, I turned one page too many. I believe that's 82, Session, the freshman wide receiver, a gain of about 35 yards. And, Jay, on that play, everything was set up to the right. He faked the screen that way, turned around, threw it back to Session, and some good blocking on the perimeter by Hoggard.
Yeah, I think that was 75, Jason Smith, with that big-time block. And if it was, and even if it wasn't, he's a 10th grader. Right, so what a great play.
There's a tall sweep to Sam Williams,
7.
and he gallops across the goal line for a touchdown, a 15-yard scoring run by Sam Williams. And the South Brunswick faithful, not much to cheer about in the second half here at Jack Campbell Stadium, as Hoggard has taken a seemingly unsurmountable 30-0 lead with 8 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game.
Boy, I'll tell you what, and they looked pretty doggone impressive in doing it on that series.
Extra point attempt is up and good. Makes the score 31-0 in favor of the Vikings.
You know, people are going to read our good friend Jackson Fuller's recap of this game tomorrow, and they're going to look at the headline and they're going to see Hoggard, whatever it ends up to be and whatever it ends up to be, and they're going to say, oh man, that's a butt kicking over there at South Brunswick, and really it's not, right? I mean, as we were talking, Sam, the tale of two halves here. The first half, a closely played game with Hoggard, a 7-zip lead, but man, they have blown things apart here in the second half.
Yep, have outscored South Brunswick 24-0 in, Jay, about 15 minutes of game action in the second half to take a commanding 31-0 lead.
Yeah, and it's not like it's these methodical drives down the field either, right? They're kind of banging them with some big plays. Let's see if South can come back with one. Hang on.
Boy, Jay, you've talked a lot tonight about the sure tackling of South Brunswick, as that was number 28, Keyshawn McClinton, a freshman defensive back and running back on the kick return. But let me tell you, Hoggard don't miss a whole lot of tackles either.
They don't, Sam, and I'm so happy you said that, because the Vikes know how to take a ball carrier down too. Still would be nice. What a boost for South Brunswick's confidence and psyche if they can get a little drive going here.
Pass across the middle of the field, incomplete.
Yeah.
That's going to be a pass interference penalty.
It's kind of a late flag, but I think maybe the correct one.
Yeah, Jay, I think he couldn't get it out of his waistband, I think is what happened. It looked like he was reaching for it and just couldn't quite get it out quickly enough to throw it.
Believe that's going to go against number 27, Logan Legg. What a great name, Logan Legg, right? Who should be a kicker, but playing safety right now and gets called for the pass interference. So, when South was enjoying some success in the first half, it was a lot of times because of the Hoggard mistake. There's one there. Let's see what the Cougs can do.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. Prince drops back, fires a pass down the middle of the field. Pass caught by Shrewberry. Broke down at the 20-yard line. A gain of about 38 yards from Prince to Shrewberry, and the Cougars in business with a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line of the Vikings.
It's a little easier to throw back there when King and Eichelberger and company aren't in the game, but still just a wonderful throw that time by Prince and a great catch by 17, Mike Shrewsbury.
Oh, no. Ball is still loose and on the ground. A fight for it on the turf. Hoggard signaling that they've got it. South signaling that they've got it. Officials trying to uncover the pile, and it's 2nd down. So South dodges a major bullet there, loses 9 yards on the play, but South did get it back. There was a couple Hoggard players who were right near it, Jay, but didn't know it was on the turf. Kind of just, were standing around looking for it and couldn't identify it to pounce on the on the loose ball.
I don't know who that person was that made that football the way it is, but it takes some funny hops and some funny rolls out there, and sometimes when you think you got it, you don't. Sure looked like Hoggard had an opportunity that time.
Screen. Oh, a good tackle there.
Well,
Jay, I got to shout out my man, number 21, Reagan Apprenti, the sophomore linebacker, read that screen beautifully and was able to bring down the pass catcher, Antoine Thompson, who had slipped out of the backfield on the middle screen.
You're seeing some guys, playing now for the Vikes that the reserves, and they're, oh, golly.
Another ball on the ground. And Thompson cannot outrun. I believe that's, is that Prenti again?
It was.
Yep, Reagan Prenti with back-to-back tackles on Antoine Thompson. Some ball security issues here on this drive on the last 2 of the last 3 plays for the Cougars. And it's going to be, Jay, we'll call it a 4th and 17 from the 27-yard line.
Close enough for me, Sam Hickman. Prenti, only a 10th grader, in on the last 2 stops for Hoggard.
Pass across the middle of the field intended for Abram, falls to the turf, incomplete. So Hoggard comes up with a stop after South Brunswick got inside the 25-yard line all the way down to the 20. But, Jay, that 1st and 10 play from the 20 where, the pitch was kind of off the mark to Parker and they lost 9 yards, derailed that drive.
It sure did. And it's funny how, a play can really change fortunes, right? And that time certainly went against South Brunswick. So we got 6:10 to go here in the 4th with Hoggard up commandingly 31-zip.
And, Jay, that's a backup quarterback.
I was just getting ready to say, who are we looking at? Hudson Wilharm.
Wilharm.
Will harm you if you make a mistake.
A good opportunity, Jay, for Hoggard head coach Craig Underwood to get a lot of these guys who don't get a whole lot of varsity game experience into the game to get some reps.
Well, and Sam, you were talking about Hoggard's season, certainly 4-1, but no big runaways or anything, so probably the first time this year that they've had a chance maybe to get some of the reserves in for some quality playing time.
It was a nice sure tackle by number 24, Brendan Hoagland, who was really active last week against New Hanover.
Yeah, 24 total tackles coming into tonight's contest for the senior linebacker, but a couple of 2.5 sacks too on the year. This is one thing that Hoggard has done well tonight is they have taken away a big advantage of South Brunswick, which is to put pressure on the quarterback. And they've had a little bit of pressure, but not like South normally does.
So Hoggard going to let the play clock get under 10 and then snap it. Pitch to Holler around the right side, and McNeil was there and got the first contact on Holler. And then Holler stays on his feet all the way up to about the 33-yard line, but going to be about 4 yards shy of the line to gain, and that will probably bring on the Hoggard punt team. Hoggard leads 31-0, 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game here at Jack Campbell Stadium.
Well, this is a weapon for Hoggard when they put the punt team on the field, because this kid Sorrells has got a booming foot, right? And let's see if South can maybe make a big play here on a punt return.
Low driving kick.
Not
Howlett gets out of the way, and it's going to get about a 15-yard roll there after it scoots by Howlett down at about the 24, 25-yard line, and we'll get another look at South Brunswick sophomore quarterback Jamison Prince and the Cougar offense.
Well, Prince came into this game tonight 543 yards through the air, 51% completion rate, 4 scores, 1 interception, and he had rushed the ball 66 yards and scored a pair of touchdowns. And for the most part this evening, I believe Hoggard has held Prince in check.
That give to Bishop Brown up the middle, but right into the teeth of the Hoggard defensive line. Number 45, Carter Osborne, in on the tackle as the game clock continues to move down under the 3.5-minute mark. So, Jay, barring some miraculous, Hoggard going to move to 5-1, 3-0 in the Mideastern Conference, and South Brunswick going to lose its first game of the season. But a good run here. Looks still on his feet. Finally tripped up around the 37 or 38-yard line. That was number 20. I had
23?
23, thank you. Ethan Overton, the sophomore back, who slipped out of the backfield and picked up a South Brunswick first down.
And
North Brunswick either leads Topsail 41-15. That game's still going on, but North Brunswick 41, Topsail 15 at the end of the third quarter. Jay, that is number 28, Keyshawn McClinton. Man, a ninth grader. How do you like to be a ninth grader out there competing against Hoggard in a battle of first-place teams on a Friday night in front of this packed house? Well, last year he was playing middle school ball.
Yeah, you can't buy that experience, right? And Friday Night Lights, when you're in the ninth grade, is really impressive.
Pass intended for Abrams falls incomplete, setting up a third and we'll call it 6 from the 42-yard line of South Brunswick.
So, Sam, you had a score on North. It sounds like they're way up on Topsail. Last score we heard, West was taking it to Laney pretty good.
I do not know the score of that one now. Jay, anybody? West Laney update? 41-21 West Brunswick advantage over Laney.
Advantage Ethan Overton, the sophomore running back on that play. My point to bring it up is as much as South Brunswick wants to defeat Hoggard here this evening, the big games for South, for North, and West are against each other. And those games are ahead of us over the next, 4 or 5 weeks.
Boy, look at McClinton go across the visitor's sideline all the way inside the 30-yard line, out of bounds at the 25. Still a minute 46 left in this one.
And the reason I say that is because of the changes in the conference and the reclassifications. There's the 3A schools that are in the Mid-East Conference this year. One of those 3A schools is going to be in the state playoffs.
Boy, look at McClinton. He has just got all kinds of running room around the right side. Inside the 20, knocked out at the 18, a gain of 7 yards. Game clock continues to move. 1 minute and 25 seconds left.
Little preview for what is in store for South fans next year in that backfield with Parker gone, but McClinton and Overton looks like they can handle it.
So we're under the 1 minute mark, partner. South Brunswick facing a 3rd and 1. Prince is going to pass on 3rd and 1. Got a man. That's going to be pass interference. Yep.
Did he catch it?
Did he catch the pass?
Looked like he caught the ball. Maybe not.
I didn't never see a signal that it was a touchdown if the pass was caught.
Did you see the flag?
Incomplete.
Oh, incomplete.
Yeah,
okay.
It was an incomplete pass.
And was that Jordan Davis, I believe, was the intended receiver.
Yep, number 2. Good call, partner.
Anyway, the Cougs still got 47 ticks on the clock. They're trying to get in there, get off to this 0 score. They may have it.
Thompson trying to bull his way across the 5-yard line. And couldn't quite get there as the Hoggard defender was up to the task. Jay, we're down at the 30-second mark. Oh, I just want South to score, don't you? Are we supposed to be objective? I'm sorry, partner. Oh, Thompson going to be brought. Oh, that is a great play.
Who is that?
44. Jay, he might be hurt. Oh, no, good.
I hope not.
Good. Jay, the tackle was by 44. Julio Lima Romano or Rylan Edwards. Lila Romano is a junior, so that's who we're going with. Sorry, Mr. Edwards. 5 seconds left, maybe the last snap. Floats it to the end zone. Ball is deflected. Game clock runs out, and Hoggard clinches the shutout. That is going to do it. So the 3rd and 7 pass knocked out of bounds to the turf, incomplete, and that will do it. Craig Underwood's Hoggard Vikings improved to 5-1, an undefeated 3-0 in Mid-Eastern Conference play. Rocky Lewis and South Brunswick suffered their first defeat of the fall 2021 season and fall to 5-1 overall. And Jay, help me out, 2-1 in Mid-Eastern Conference play, but South Brunswick still in really good shape as we move toward the playoff season. Jay, it was a great game for about 2 quarters, but boy, did Hoggard impose its will in the second half. Wrap us up, partner.
I think that's probably as good a way to say it as any. They in the second half, Hoggard just played Hoggard football, right? They did not play that in the first half, and we say that simply because of all the mistakes and penalties that Hoggard just doesn't make. But they cleaned that up at halftime. They came out in the second half and really dominated this game. A good evening by Jones and Moses with a couple of touchdown catches. Sorrell's kicking the ball all over Brunswick County tonight, and they're good, Sam. They're not where they are by luck or by chance. This is a great program, a great team, a rich tradition, and cream rises to the top. And in the second half here this evening, the cream came to the top.
As my wise color analyst often says, water seeks its own level, and that's exactly what happened tonight. As the Hoggard Vikings, a perennial power in this area and in the Mid-Eastern Conference, made enough plays to come away with a win over a really, really tough South Brunswick team. This is not the last we've seen of the Cougars, literally and figuratively, in the Mid-Eastern Conference race. For Nathan Evers, Jake Godek, Jake Holmes, I'm Sam Hickman. Good night from the campus of South Brunswick High School. Reminder, fans, next week we will be in Charlotte for Topsail at West Brunswick. Kickoff scheduled for 6:30. Make sure you tune in on time, so shoot for 6:15. We look forward to seeing you then, and we'll see you next time on our ATMC TV Game of the Week.